Welcome to Amit Shakil's 5858 War and Love Report. I am Amir.
The EU's top diplomat has expressed concern over a coup in Gabon, saying it's the latest development in a difficult political situation in West Africa.
A day after Yevgeny Prigozhin's funeral, the Kremlin has admitted that what it called wrongdoing might have led to the plane crash in which he died.
2 people have been killed in an air raid on Kyiv as both Russia and Ukraine used drones to attack targets behind the front lines.
Hurricane Idalia has struck Florida's Gulf Coast, with winds expected to reach speeds of up to 200 kilometers an hour.
There have been scenes of celebration on the streets of Gabon after the army announced it had overthrown President Ali Bongo Ondimba. A group of officers appeared on state TV early on Wednesday, saying they'd seized power and that they intended to dissolve all institutions of the republic. The fate of Bongo, who has ruled Gabon since taking over from his father in 2009, remains unclear. There are reports that he's under house arrest and that one of his sons has also been detained. At a meeting of EU defence ministers, the bloc's top diplomat said Europe was increasingly concerned by political turmoil in the region.
The whole area, starting with Central African Republic, then Mali, then Burkina Faso, now Niger, maybe Gabon. It's in a very difficult situation, and certainly the ministers, today defense ministers and tomorrow foreign affairs ministers, have to have a deep thought on what is going on there.
The coup erupted shortly after the result of the weekend's presidential election, which returned Bongo to power, was announced on Wednesday morning, but the country remains gripped by uncertainty. A similar revolt in 2019 failed within days.
A day after Yevgeny Prigozhin's private funeral, the Kremlin has said the plane crash in which the mercenary chief died may have been foul play. A trickle of mourners continue to lay wreaths at his graveside in St. Petersburg as the investigation into the crash, which killed 10 people, including other Wagner leaders, gathered pace. Among the theories being put forward, a criminal act. Many in the West believe Vladimir Putin was behind the incident in revenge for Prigozhin's short-lived uprising against Kremlin authorities in June. Putin's aides have dismissed the suggestion. The warlord was once a close ally of Putin, but he came to represent the greatest threat to the president's rule with his relentless attacks on Moscow's military leadership over their handling of the Ukraine invasion.
At least 2 people have died in Kyiv in what Ukrainian authorities say was the biggest Russian air attack on the Ukrainian capital since the spring. They were reported killed by falling debris from a drone shot down over the Shevchenkivsky district. A number of others were injured in the incident. It's not clear how many missiles targeted the city, but regional military commanders said air defences downed more than 20. There were also reports of drone attacks on the southern port of Odessa. In Russia, drones hit an airport in the western Pskov region as part of what authorities claim was the biggest air assault by Ukraine on Russia since the war began. Drones were also reportedly shot down over 5 other areas across the country, including the Moscow region. There were no reports of casualties.
Hurricane Idalia has struck its first blow in Florida, making landfall on Wednesday in Europ Beach on the west coast of the state. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says it expects the storm to bring wind speeds of up to 205 kilometers, that's just over 125 miles an hour. The governor of Florida has appealed to people not to take unnecessary risks.
Do not go outside in the midst of this storm. If it's calm where you are, it may be because you are in the eye of the storm, and those conditions will change very, very quickly. So wherever you are, hunker down and don't take anything for granted here. This is a very, very powerful storm.
Everything points towards Idalia weakening. A couple of hours before making landfall, it was a Category 4 hurricane with wind speeds of up to 225 kilometers per hour. The U.S. National Hurricane Center expects it to continue advancing through southern Georgia or southern Carolina. Through southern Georgia or southern Carolina.
Protesters against enlarging London's ultra-low emission zone, known as ULEZ, gathered in the UK's capital to oppose the move as it came into effect this week. Despite the opposition, much of it on grounds of cost, London's Mayor Sadiq Khan is pressing ahead with the politically charged extension of the toll across Greater London.
Khan is right. You've got people here today, they've got elderly parents, they are carers, they have got children that they need to get to school, they just need to get to work. They are going to be affected by this tax. It's unfair.
We have clean enough air in Greater London as it is. It's quite clean. There is no case for expanding ULEZ to the outer London.
ULEZ is already in operation in central London, but now the expansion to the suburbs means it becomes the largest pollution charging scheme in the world. Mayor Khan says it's not about raising revenues.
Look at those with illnesses in London linked with air pollution. More than two-thirds live in, guess where? Out of London. They've not seen the benefits of ULEZ. After today, they will.
The contentious move has its political implications. ULEZ has been blamed for costing Khan's main opposition Labour Party victory in a by-election last month. Labour's opponents see it as a weapon against the socialist surge in opinion polls.
Erich Stegemann's love of trains started young when he worked at this model train store in Berlin. Now, as a railway engineer, he's choosing trains to go across the continent.
An airliner seat just isn't as comfortable, and you don't have the leg room, and you've got that on a first-class train, certainly. Like the landscapes, it's just more relaxed.
He's not the only one that feels that way. A German NGO promoting train travel says there was a big uptick in demand in recent years, as many trains were being fully booked well ahead of schedule. National rail operators and companies are adding new routes this year and next, with more direct trips connecting Germany to cities across Europe. Germany's Deutsche Bahn says there were record sales for long-distance transport this year. This is where one of the more highly anticipated new routes will be, Paris to Berlin. But that doesn't mean everyone's going to be jumping on board. A study by Greenpeace compared prices between train and plane tickets for certain routes. It found that flying was cheaper more than 50% of the time. The EU is aiming to double high-speed rail by 2030. This train travel analyst says passenger numbers can massively increase, but that's being hampered by airlines getting tax breaks.
You should subsidize the mode of transit that you want more of, not the one that you actually want to reduce. This is no level playing field where the different modes of transit can really compete against each other. This is the reason why air travel is so cheap at the moment.
Price is an obstacle even for Eric, despite his preference for trains.
So it's just so energy efficient compared to flying, and it's also, of course, motivation. Then again, it's so expensive that I cannot omit flying completely, unfortunately.
They called her Amarena. For a few minutes, she held centre stage in the village of San Sebastiano di Masi in central Italy. A Mexican bear, a non-aggressive subspecies of the European brown bear, walked through the streets with her two cubs under the astonished gaze of the villagers. It's not the first time she's done it. Residents call her Amarena because of her predilection for that particular local variety of cherry. It's increasingly multinational and more crowded every year. La Tomatina, the festive tomato war that's put the Valencian town of Buñol on the map. This year it's brought together more than 20,000 participants from all over the world. Ammunition is in abundance, in the form of 150,000 kilos of very ripe pear tomatoes. The tradition began by chaps after a dispute between young people during a party in 1945. Over the years it's become an international event. People have copied in other parts of the world.
The lights are up and the red carpet laid for this year's Venice Film Festival, but even though many Hollywood stars are opting to stay away for fear of breaching the Screen Actors Guild strike, it's still set to be a cinema showcase. For more, here's Euronews culture journalist David Moricott.
The 80th edition of the Venice Film Festival kicks off this week with an impressive lineup of films, both European and American. Despite the ongoing strikes in the US, several actors will be present on the Lido in the end this year, including Adam Driver and Jessica Chastain, who have both been given special dispensation by the unions in order to promote their films. This is specifically important for Venice as it is not only the first festival of the fall season, but also a festival that has garnered the reputation for premiering major Oscar-winning films. Early buzz this year suggests that Bradley Cooper's Maestro, Michael Mann's Ferrari biopic, and Priscilla Presley biopic, helmed by Sofia Coppola, are ones to look out for. Another eagerly awaited title is Ava DuVernay's Origin, which explores the entrenched racism in the US. It is also a historical inclusion, as Ava DuVernay becomes the first African-American female director to premiere in competition. From Venice, David Moricott, Euronews.
Thank you for watching and privilege of your time. This is Amir Shakil 5858. I am Amir Goodman. Have a good life.